Here we are. It's another Friday. It's another Shabbat. And we're back at war, of course. We were always at war anyway. We've been at war since 1948, and actually we've been at war since the Roman Wars and before that the Persian Wars. My people have been at war for over 3,000 years against the same enemy that comes up every so often. We call the enemy Amalek. Sometimes it's Hitler's people, sometimes it's Russians, Cossacks, sometimes it's Persians, sometimes it's the Romans, and most recently it's the citizens of what's called the non-state of Gaza. All right, as we fought the others, we'll fight them because God of Israel commands us whenever Amalek raises its head to put them in the grave, and we do our very best. We're a small people, but we have a hell of a nasty army. Judging from what I've been able to hear about this recent outbreak, we haven't been losing a lot, thank God, of our soldiers, but they've been losing a lot of their people and supporters also. Thank God. The only really good thing that's happened in the last few years has been the fact that President Trump is now in charge. Now, one of the reasons, and probably one of the most important reasons for we Americans, including me, that we went back to war was they refused to release the American prisoner. Not even release the American prisoner. Now, I would have a different way of talking to them if I were President Trump, and of course I'm not. He's 1 year older, may so have to defer to his age. But I have to say that in this situation, an American citizen is spending for over a year tortured, sodomized, and in jail. And the rest of them are all dead, except maybe he's still alive. I would take an expeditionary force and pull up to the beach in Gaza. I would shell the piss out of them, and I'd send a Marine invasion force to start moving from one side of Gaza to the other. I mean, you can walk it in about 6 hours. So. And say, give us our American, give us all prisoners. Because we Israelis in the IDF, we have a tendency to be merciful. I'm a Marine. I was never taught to be merciful, and I don't intend to start now. I would just go from one side to the other and leave nothing but Sherman's march to the sea. Nothing. And I guarantee you they'd give that American prisoner back and all of the bodies as soon as we hit the beach. Because they may be evil and they may be contemptible, but they're not foolish. Anyway, Shabbat is a great time, so we don't have to think about things like this. We can just enjoy our family. And it's been pretty cold the last few days, heavy rains. There was even some snow flurries. And I don't think we're going to see that much sun here on Shabbat and Kiryat Arba, but whatever we can see, we will thank God for and enjoy. Now, as to the political situation in Israel, I'm sure it's of no concern to anybody in America, nor should it be. Because Israelis play politics differently than Americans do. Israelis play politics in the most outlandish way, where they'd be at each other's throats 1 second and they'd be kissing the next second. We are a very interesting people here. Please do not compare us to Jews in America or Jews anywhere else in the world. We are not exiled Jews. We're native Jews. We are trained from the very first start. My children don't believe that there's anybody stronger or more important or better in the world than they are. That includes the Jews outside of the country. Because it's true. We have not, the children have not been born with the stain of the exile. They and their children, their children's children, children's children will be real Jews living on their own soil. Does that make us wild Jews? Maybe. But it makes us native Jews. And we will run our country as we see fit. Well, I want to give you all a Shabbat Shalom. Lots of love from Israel. I love all of you. And unfortunately, Thursday was the last day that I gave one of my books out for free. I hope you had the opportunity to take advantage of that. Destiny of Memories. It's my story of going to Vietnam. And when I was on the I Corps, the DMZ line, if you want to say, my stepfather murdered my mother. I had to go back to bury her and continue to fight the good fight. So I do know a little bit about PTSD and a little bit about personality disorders. So the books are still out there. I'm trying to make them as cheap as possible so you can read them. I think they're important, especially to military families, especially to veterans. It's not a prescription for getting rid of PTSD, because the only prescription for that is you die and it's gone. But maybe my story will give you some hope. I found my hope here in Israel in joining the IDF and continued the good fight. Shabbat Shalom. May you be blessed, your children and your family blessed for all times.